When you receive the unit, it will be presented this way. In order to start using it, we will need to plug it in, the AC power first, and then the wired remote. So I take the cable here and plug it this way on the tester. I turn the ring about a quarter to lock in the connector. Same for the wired remote. I will open the cable here and plug in connector in the same fashion. Quarter turn to lock it in, and you will see both cables are coming outwards if you're having difficulty finding where the key is located. On the other end, I do have this connector that will go here on the wired remote. I recommend this one not to disconnect it too often because the pins on the wired remote are pretty long and there's a chance to bend them over time. Once you have pushed the connector in there, you can turn the screw to lock it in. Now your tester is connected and ready to go. Let's take a look at the front panel and all of the different sub-assemblies that are comprised of it. First of all, you will see both pitot and static connectors here. Note that they are both AN4, which means that you'll have to be careful when you're connecting to your aircraft because you don't want to connect your static hose on your pitot port and your pitot hose on your static port. Note that both of these connectors are equipped with small O-rings here that help you with the tightening of your fittings whenever you're connecting to your aircraft. Note that you will not be able to hand tight those connectors thanks to the O-ring. You will still have to use a 9/16 wrench. This is your on-off switch that will turn right now. This is your power connector, as we've seen. This is going to be the ground. In case your AC power is not connected to ground, you'll be able to ground your tester by using a pin. Here are blanked out battery fuse and battery switch because this unit is not equipped with the battery option. These are going to be your emergency vents. Note that this unit is fully automated. You will never have to use those vents to actually regulate pressure and vacuum on this test set. These are only here in case of emergency. This will be only in case of loss of power in your hangar or malfunction of the test set during a check, and you will have to ground your aircraft in an emergency mode. To do that, you will open the pitot crossbead first, gently, and monitor on your analog gauges in your aircraft the airspeed going back down at a reasonable rate. When the airspeed is back down to 0, you will be able to open the static vent and finally bring your aircraft to the ground by reducing the altitude down to 0. Make sure to have a rate that is within range of your aircraft abilities, usually between 2,000 and 6,000 feet per minute. You do not want, however, open the static vent first and then the pitot crossbleed, because if you do it this way, your airspeed will increase. So make sure to open the pitot crossbleed first, then the static vent. I will close them back down now. Next is the Wi-Fi antenna sitting right there. This Wi-Fi antenna gives you a nominal range of 50 feet. We have seen that it actually gives you a longer range, but if you put the tester around the cockpit, in a reasonable range around the cockpit, the tester will have a perfect range for any wireless device that you wish to connect to the test set. Finally, here we have the interface connectors. These two interface connectors are one for the encoder that will allow you, when using the encoder option, to check the gray code as transmitted by the encoder to the transponder. And the other connector will be a serial connector that will allow you to download profiles in the unit from your computer whenever needed. On the inside of the lid, you will find here the typical use setup that you need to follow whenever you're starting that unit. There are different steps that we will review in the next section that will be pretty useful to make your test easier and faster to process. Here is also all the information pertaining to the calibration. You'll need to check this data to make sure that your test set is calibrated when doing a check. Finally, here you will have a set of LED lights that turn on depending on what options have been chosen on this particular test set and if the test set is powered on or not. Right now, the AC switch is switched to on, which means the test set is ready to be started, and you will see a green solid LED on the test set. When looking at the remote, you will see the keypad here with different functions that we will see in a minute when the unit is turned down.